On Thursday, July the 11th, 2019, a small band of enthusiastic activists came out on a hot afternoon to protest PNC Bank, a bank prominent in the funding of CoreCivic and GEO Group, the private prison duopoly which operates most U.S. migrant detention centers. They were able to shut down the branch in less than 1 hour. Talk about what you're doing out here today.
Well, I'm standing in solidarity with our Latinx sisters and brothers in cages in the ICE facilities and in the detention centers, the private detention centers run by GEO Group, which are invested in by many financial institutions, including PNC Bank here. And we were successful in building community pressure from the grassroots, forcing SunTrust to divest. We want to do the same here with the PNC prison profiteers. We don't want PNC or any institution profiting off of child suffering. They need to divest. We need to shut these concentration camps down. We need justice for our Latinx sisters and brothers.
Well, we're not pleased. As a matter of fact, we're very insulted. This bank is funding those that would house in concentration camps other human beings. I think that our position about our southern borders is reprehensible. To see people marching thousands of miles, really, seeking a better way of life for their children. And they get to the land of so-called free, where we've got a welcome sign with the Statue of Liberty saying, bring me your tired, etc. We should take it down. And so, I guess in the first analogy, I happen to be a Christian. We believe that the earth belongs to the Lord and the fullness thereof. But in the first place, we have no right putting up borders. And I think if remotely clear with the United States, we know that through brute force, the United States stole Texas, stole California, and on and on. Many of these people really are just getting back home, coming back home.
I'm not here because I don't agree with what Trump and his friends are doing. They're building cages for the kids, and they're enslaving people, not just the immigrants, but people in period going on. It's a lot of stuff need to be going. A lot of stuff need to be stopped. PNC need to be shut down because they're holding the money for slave owners. I'm with it. It's time for us to take control. We gotta show them greedy folk that we control. That there's still good people out here.
Well, Larry, I understand that there are two big corporations that are in charge of immigrant detention. Can you speak a little bit about these two, who they are and what they're doing?
CoreCivic is one and GEO is the other, and they contract with the government to run these centers. And not only those, but private prisons around the country, mass incarceration. And people are dying in these centers due to lack of health care because they are for-profit companies. All they care about is profit. They don't care about the wards, their wards. Okay? And the government and these banks continue to support them, including Trump, who's an animal. Most of the major banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, have divested from funding those companies. PNC is the last major one, so we will continue to protest and close their branches like we forced them to close today until they divest. They want to open up one in Georgia now, okay? So we have mixed feelings about that. Number one, if the children are here closer to us, we can monitor their situation. But number two, they're forcefully, the government, the Trump administration is forcefully separating children from their families. Many of them have parents or significant others here that they're not allowed to join, okay? And so we don't want to support that practice of separating children from their families.
And I understand now that 6 kids have died out of these immigration concentration camps.
And several adults. And one is too many, and many are sick, but there's rampant sexual abuse, okay? And so when you have contractors, when you have companies that are not accountable, all of these type of abuses take place. It's time for it to end.
Wall Street banks and regional banks provide revolving lines of credit, term loans, and corporate bond underwriting to CoreCivic and GEO Group. The banks fund the construction of new detention centers, acquisitions of smaller companies, and general cash flow. You too can shut down a bank, even for only an afternoon. They did.
And we're going to escalate. We're just getting started. We hope that they will do the right thing, disinvest it.